Hi everyone, Jackie Fleischman here, your corporate confidence coach. I work with professionals and entrepreneurs to power up their negotiation skills and work through really challenging interpersonal dynamics as they come up in a deal, a negotiation, or simply in your line of work or something you're working on. I post one video a week where I share my tips, tactics, and strategies. And this week we are talking about when reasonable minds can't agree and logic doesn't work. How often have you turned to logic and reason to win a heated disagreement only to see that you're not getting anywhere? It's at this moment when we realize that we're not going to shift someone's perspective and we immediately label this person or the other party as irrational. But before we paint somebody as irrational, consider this. We live in a world that no longer favors diverse, well-rounded arguments, causing us to become more entrenched in our beliefs. We naturally gravitate towards information that supports our beliefs and tend to reject or disregard information that contradicts our opinions and positions. It's ironic because information is so much more accessible today, yet we selectively and narrowly choose what to listen to, absorb, and follow. Frustrated, fatigued, and feeling completely defeated, many of us retreat to fight another day or regroup to identify other options. Today, I'm sharing some of my strategies for what to do when logic just isn't working. I'm going to share with you some different perspectives and how to maybe move the needle forward so you can bridge the differences that you're facing. Any chance of collaboration and cooperation demands a shift in perspective, so it requires us to take a slightly different approach. The first thing we have to understand is it's not about winning. The notion of winning an argument when participants have such vastly differing views on something fundamental to a transaction, it should just be thrown out the window, discard it. Instead, focus on understanding where the differences are, where the differences lie. While participants may not share the same beliefs, you may share a desire to figure out a way to bridge the differences. Politicians have to do this all the time. All participants will have differing views on what winning is. No one is going to get everything they want. But if you focus on bridging the gap between the differences, you may just be able to move your deal forward. Number 2, you have to set aside the facts. Chances are it's not the facts that are presenting disagreement. It's conflicting values that lead to differing priorities. To give you a real-world example that I faced a couple of years ago, I had a listing for a dental practice in an affluent downtown Toronto neighborhood. The dental practice was located on an upper floor of a tall building. It was beautifully designed. It felt like a spa when you walked into it. I must have shown this practice to 25 or 30 dentists independently, and they all shared the same feedback. Even though they thought the practice was beautiful, it was a great purchasing opportunity, none of them were going to put offers in, and none of them were going to buy this practice. The reason that they weren't going to buy it was because in their mind and in their belief system, they felt that the trade-off was not worth it for giving up street front visibility, which took precedent for them in what they were looking for in terms of location. In situations like this, we have to adapt and shift our thinking from right and wrong to accepting that the thought process is being governed by a different belief system and a different set of values and priorities. In some situations, your goals are going to be completely incompatible, but in others, you may be able to find an approach that can bridge the divide. Other viewpoints matter. How many people in your circle of friends, family, colleagues, and peers have fundamentally differing viewpoints than you? Are you more likely to be open to what they have to say? If you share common ground with them in other areas of your life, they may be able to shed light on a belief system that is completely and radically different from your own. Use these pre-existing relationships to your advantage. This person can make room for an expanded view. There's a chance that your position will shift or soften slightly in honor of the respect you have for this person and the value that you place on this relationship. It can go a long way in navigating the complexities that you're dealing with in a different situation or a different venue. To go back to my earlier example, when I wasn't able to sell the dental practice to the first 25 or 30 prospects, I called a few of them and had an open and honest conversation with them to really understand their viewpoint, their values, their priorities. And it was only after those conversations that I was able to adopt a completely different strategy and approach to sell this practice. With this insight, I was able to build the correct profile for my buyer and market it to someone that wanted this location and this type of practice. Finally, we have to agree to disagree, and this is really about showing respect and communicating an open mind. The world's most complicated political challenges require diplomats to have regular, honest, and open conversations about a variety of sensitive subject matters, anything from denuclearization to Middle East peace, to climate change, to funding for a border wall. And they do it consistently from positions that are far apart, and usually, more often than not, they have to find a way to bridge some of these differences for progress to occur. Beliefs go right to the root of a person's identity and cultural roots. So getting into an argument with someone is akin to attacking their identity. It's a losing argument that can damage your reputation and close off a future opportunity to work together. So instead, don't focus on winning, focus on keeping the conversation alive. You may just win after all.